Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Hopefully, everyone is doing great. If you're watching this as a recording, welcome to the live stream. So, just going to double check if everything is okay. Everything should be working fine. So, I'm going to try to do these live streams as often as I can. Usually, we do them on the weekends, but I'm going to try to do them throughout the weekdays as well, because I know people like to stay updated, people like to have engagement, and people want some bullish news during these bearish times. Now, let's jump into the top 10. So the altcoins aren't doing very good, as you know. Bitcoin is performing extremely well. Some of the analysts that I've been watching are saying it's possible Bitcoin is going to dump down to $88,000, which again is something that we spoke about on this channel, and I let you guys know that that is a possibility, at least if we look at the weekly, right? If we look at the weekly 20 EMA is at around $90,000. If you go to the monthly 20, we're very overextended from that. That thing is below 70,000. I don't think we're going down that low unless we're entering a bear market, which I don't think we're entering a bear market at the moment because the on-chain data doesn't suggest that. The math behind the 4-year cycle doesn't suggest that either. So there's a few things I want to go through, and you can share your altcoin request. We'll take a look at a few before the stream is over. This one is probably going to be a quick one, probably around 30 minutes or so. I want to take a look at the expectations for the next FOMC meeting. So again, we're looking at 97.5% for a no change, while 2.5% of investors are expecting a 25 basis points cut. When you see a picture like this essentially means we're going to get a no change. If we go to the one after that in May, on May 7th, we have a bit of a different structure here. So 84% no change, 15.6% are expecting a 25 basis points cut, and 0.3% are expecting a 50 basis points cut. So these numbers will change. They always change depending on some events, depending on what Jerome Powell says. That man can crash the markets with a single move of a muscle on his eyebrow, which is crazy to me, but this is the way the markets work, and you should expect these numbers to change drastically. If we go to June, the numbers are more favorable. So here we have a 40% expectation of a 25 basis points cut and a 5.8% expectation of a 50 basis points cut, which I don't think we're getting a 50 basis points cut, but these are the numbers that we're getting. By the way, let me know if you're hearing any background noise. I don't think you should be, because I muted the background audio. Let me just double check myself. But these are the numbers that we're getting. By the way, let me know if you're at a 5.8%. Okay, it should be fine. The audio seems to be working fine. Okay, so these are the numbers for the next FOMC meeting. Once we start getting more cuts, that's going to be bullish. Let's say we get a cut in March, which is going to be unexpected. The markets won't price that in. That can cause a massive pump. What do you expect in March, April, and what do you expect in March and April for altcoins? We'll talk about that in just a second. Thank you for your comment. Music to relieve stress and anxiety. A constant viewer on our channel. Appreciate you. We'll take a look at the altcoin market in a second, but let's just go through some news here. This is Nosana, and they're comparing themselves to a bunch of other centralized entities like Google Cloud and AWS. So they're not on-chain like Nosana is. And Nosana, by the way, is a GPU distributor, a compute power distributor, open source. So these guys are closed sources, the giants, while Nosana is open source. Permissionless, anyone can use and provide compute, strict KYC and access control. decentralized GPU power, peer-to-peer GPU marketplace, and again, fully centralized over at the Amazon and Google side of things. Cost efficient, no middleman, competitive pricing, expensive and high fees for Google and Amazon. Sensor resistant, no single point of failure, while Amazon and Google Cloud are subject to corporate policies. And this is something the world is shifting to, or at least starting to shift to. And I think this is a good thing because you don't want your data being held by these giants. They can sell your data. They're selling your data. We all know they're selling everyone's data. So hopefully more and more decentralized computing and data storage will be accessible to everyone. And it is technically accessible to everyone. So it's just about becoming mainstream. So these are the Bitcoin monthly returns since 2013. And the month of February, as you can see, is usually bullish. If we go back to 2021, which is the previous bull market year, or the last year of the 4-year cycle, we had a 36.78% increase. If we go back to 2017, which was the last year of that cycle, we had a 23.07% increase in Bitcoin's price. And 4 years before that, we had a 61.7% increase. And last year, also in February, we had a 43.5% increase, which was really, really good. But it seems that this February, we're not doing that good. If we go to the monthly chart, we're actually losing compared to where we opened the candle, which was right over here. We're down about 5.9%. So it's not the best of situations. However, we have March after that, which is also bullish. So it was bullish in 2021. It was not bullish in 2017. And it was bullish during the 2013 bull market. But the 2013 bull market is more of an outlier. I wouldn't be using it to get your averages from, if you want to calculate the average income or profit, I wouldn't be using the 2013, or I would be using it, but I would kind of restructure the formula so that it focuses more on the most recent bull markets. After that, we have April. So April was bearish in 2021. This is when we started peaking out for a lot of altcoins. And this is when Bitcoin peaked, according to some on-chain indicators and according to some technical analysis on multiple channels. I see people saying that, in their opinion, this was the cycle peak. And whatever we had in November 2021 was just... it was not meant to happen. It was not supposed to happen, but they don't count that top, essentially. Now, throughout 2016 to 2020, April was a very bullish month, really bullish. Okay, even during bear markets, this performed well. Now, last year, April was a bearish month for us. Okay, now if you take a look at 2017, we get 32%. And in 2013, we have 50% increase in April. And then in May, we were bullish in 2017. We were bearish in May because in 2021, that was when we had the massive crash, the 50% crash across the board. Bitcoin crashed 50%. Some altcoins went down as low as 70 to 80%. And we also went down in 2013 in May. So you can see that there is a possibility we're going to have a bullish spring. And I think it's very possible we're going to have a bullish spring. Some of the on-chain indicators that I'm looking at are showing us that we're not at the top yet. So for example, if we look at the MVRZ score, usually we at least get to the 6th on the chart here before we peak out. And that hasn't happened yet. So back in 2021, this was around February. So we were getting this indicator in February 2021 calling for the peak. And then this was October 2021. So as you can see, this kind of calls for the peak a month or a month and a half earlier. But I think that's good. You can use this indicator to try to time the market. But of course, there's no guarantee that this will work properly. And it's possible we're just going to get to the 6th score here, and that's going to be it for this cycle. So this is a Bitcoin chart that uses blockchain analysis to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely over or undervalued relative to its fair value. So they're using the market value, the current price of Bitcoin multiplied by the number of coins in circulation. They're using the realized value rather than taking the current price of Bitcoin. Realized value takes the price of each Bitcoin when it was moved or last moved, i.e. the last time it was sent from one wallet to another wallet. And then the z-score, which is the orange line, is a standard deviation test that pulls the extremes in the data between the market value and realized value. And how this can be used is the MVRV z-score has historically been very effective in identifying periods where market value is moving unusually high above realized value. These periods are highlighted by the z-score orange line. Entering the pink box and indicates the top of market cycles. It has been able to pick the market high of each cycle within 2 weeks, which is pretty good. So you're waiting for this orange box, and once the orange line gets there, essentially that's when you're looking at the peak according to this indicator. There's multiple ones you can use. The other one is the cycle pi top, or the pi cycle top, but some people are saying that this will not give us an accurate peak like it did the previous 3 times. So be careful using the pi cycle top. Next up, Elon Musk proposes a $5,000 Doge dividend checks for all Americans, funded by savings from his Department of Government Efficiency. Now, this is very similar to what we've seen during the pandemic, where we had stimulus checks for Americans, and most of that money went into assets, into risk-on assets, and that is partially what drove the bull market in 2021 during the pandemic. And this is very similar. However, this is even more bullish because the amount back in 2021 was approximately, I think it was around $2,000 or so. It was definitely not $5,000. Now, with inflation, obviously, it's not going to be $5,000 from 2021. It's going to be a little bit less than that. However, this is still bullish, and I think this could definitely add a lot more people into the speculative side of crypto that are going to, put this money into Bitcoin or some top 10, top 20, maybe top 100 altcoins, and they will definitely help us out in terms of the Altseason. Now, from Bitcoin Archive, Bitcoin has not had 5 red weeks in a row since the bear market. So if we open up this chart, every time we have a correction, it's usually 4 red candles, and then we have a green candle, at least one green candle. We can go to the Bitcoin weekly chart at the moment, and we can verify this. So we go back to February 2023, which was one of our local peaks there. We had 4 red candles and then a massive green candle in March. And then we go to August 2023, we have 4 red candles, and from September we start moving to the upside. Very similar picture in April 2024. We have 4 red candles, and then we have a green candle, and we kind of bottom out and start moving to the upside. The same thing happens in June 2024. We have 4 red candles, and then we start moving to the upside. And right now, our weekly candle is green, but we've had 3 red candles so far. So if this week closes red, then I think the week after that is definitely going to be bullish, at least for a short while. We could have a small relief rally for some altcoins. So if you're in some short-term trades, that could be a good time to capitalize and take profits. I'm currently in 3 short-term trades, and I've covered those on my Patreon. So if you're interested in that, take a look at my Patreon. The link is down below in the description. You can get access to around 1,000 posts. So if you take a look at this here, we've got around 1,000 posts. And that includes 100 plus low cap gem videos. That includes my portfolio reviews, exit strategy videos for a bunch of altcoins. You can request technical analysis or exit strategies for your favorite coins. So make sure to check that out. Once again, the link is down below in the description. Okay, so we confirmed that. We should see at least a relief rally in the next 2 weeks. Now, next up, Binance US resumes USD deposits and withdrawals for the first time since February 13th, 2023. All eligible Binance US customers will soon be able to deposit and withdraw USD with ease using bank transfer. So I think this should increase the volume on exchanges and on Binance US. And it seems that the on-ramp is Alchemy Pay here because that's ACH, that's their native token. So this is bullish news for Americans, and some people are saying that this is time to start aping into BNB. And, you know, that's a really good point. BNB could start pumping because of the demand for the BNB coin. Now that more people are going to be using the exchange, we all know the use cases for BNB. If you have BNB, you can get discounts on trading. Now, this is coming from Gerrit von Lagen, and he's talking about a $300,000 Bitcoin in the next few months. Now, I'm not saying anything is possible or impossible necessarily. However, I don't think a $300,000 Bitcoin is possible. So he's saying end of March or early April would be my current expectation with highest probability. Now, if you take a look at my last video that we did on my channel, so if you go to my uploads, I uploaded this video, the bull market will top on this day, 4 dates for 2025. So I calculate the average according to the previous bull markets, and we have 4 dates for when the bull market will potentially top. One of those dates is in April. So this could co-align if what he's saying is true. It doesn't necessarily have to be $300,000, but it's possible we're going to get a Bitcoin peak in April. And I specifically say Bitcoin peak because it's possible that altcoins will continue rallying after Bitcoin has peaked like it did in 2021. So this is something to keep in mind. A very similar structure here to what I have on my chart where we have a channel up pattern. The thing is, I don't expect us to be getting to $300,000. That's just not something that I think is possible. Okay, so this is essentially the same pattern that I've had, and he's looking somewhere over here. Or maybe he has the trend line set up slightly higher, slightly more vertical, but it's a bit of a different angle, but we're not getting 300K in March. If we do, great, I'm all for it, but I just think posts like this will get a lot of people wrecked. This is why people lost their money in 2021. And if we get a massive alt season from now until June, let's say, a lot of people will get wrecked because they're going to be waiting for a $300,000 Bitcoin. They'll be waiting for $15,000 Ethereum, for a $5,000 BNB, for a $10 Cardano, and so on and so forth. So I try to stay conservative, and I'm not expecting a $300,000 Bitcoin. And this is one of the other charts I showed you the other day. So this is showing the supply and demand zones on the market cap dominance for Bitcoin and the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. So the Ethereum against Bitcoin is in the demand zone, which means that it's possible we're going to have a bounce from this area. And this co-aligns with the Bitcoin dominance being in the supply zone like it was last time we had Ethereum in the demand zone against Bitcoin. So this is just one of the other little indicators that I'm puzzling together to get an overall broader image of what's going to happen with the altcoins. So I think March and April is going to be good for altcoins. Even if we don't have an alt season, I think we're going to have a fruitful March and April. If we have an alt season, it's going to be even better. And if we do end up having an alt season, I think it's going to be lasting at least 100 days. Okay. So if we take a look at the alt season index, right now we're in the middle. If we start pumping, we're going to be getting above the index of 75. And we're going to stay there for some time like we did back in 2021. It's also possible that we're going to dump below the index of 25. We're going to go into Bitcoin season before we switch over to an alt season. That's also a possibility. So keep that in mind, guys. And that's pretty much it for our news section. I know you have some altcoins. We're going to take a look at a few of those. Aerodrome Finance, Harmony One. We're going to take a look at those. So history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So just because something played out in a certain way in the previous bull market doesn't mean it's going to happen the exact same way. But we're hoping for Ethereum to start moving up, not because I necessarily like Ethereum, but because it will drive the altcoins to the upside. It's going to make the altcoins go up with it. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's a lot of FUD with Solana at the moment. And some people are switching to Ethereum. They're selling their Solana. We've seen that with Alex Becker. I showed you his post yesterday, I believe, or the day before that when we did our live stream. So there's a few things that are pointing towards the fact that Ethereum might have a run or some sort of a run. And this was one of them. And then people switching to Ethereum from Solana because of the bearishness and also because of the fact that Solana has gone up so much. And now people want to get into Ethereum that has been lagging behind. And if you're interested into my thoughts on Ethereum, we did a video on it 11 days ago. Feel free to check it out. And once you see the Patreon logo on top of or in the corner of one of the videos, that simply means this video was available on Patreon 7 days before it was uploaded on YouTube. So if you want to get these videos early, then definitely check out my Patreon. Now let's go to your requests. And the first one is going to be Aerodrome Finance. So let's take a look at Aero. So personally, I have Velodrome, so I'm into Velodrome, but Aerodrome can definitely do very well as well. We can identify a supply zone over here, or sorry, yeah, supply zone. And if I just do that. Okay, there we go. Let me, what did I want to check? Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to find it right now. And what's happening right now is we're seeing a correction from that local top there. Now let's draw a Fibonacci and see where it could potentially take us. And we have the 786 right below us at 71 cents. So that's going to be a good area to dark cost average. You can see we had a resistance bounce from that back in August 2024. We broke above it. This could be our retest of support. This could be our bottom for this move for Aerodrome, okay? 71 cents. This would be a bullish scenario, and a bearish scenario would take us to the local bottom here at 52 cents, or perhaps even lower than that, okay? If we're looking at targets to the downside, you could be looking at 35.5 cents. If there is going to be a flash crash or a massive correction, we could quickly dump to 35 cents. We could wick down here and then have a quick V-shaped recovery. So that's a possibility. Let's open up the market cap, or rather the CMC, and see Aerodrome's market cap. Okay, 575. It's available on Coinbase, but we don't have a Binance listing yet. So once we get a Binance listing, I think this should get a massive pump as well, because Velodrome Finance did get a Binance listing. So I think it's a matter of time before Aerodrome Finance does get a Binance listing as well. But yeah, this is a good time to dark cost average. If you bought in before, this is a good time to start building a position in Aerodrome if you're interested in doing that. Next up, we have Harmony One from Roz. Shout out to Roz. Let's take a look at Harmony One. So this has been in a massive, massive sideways almost move here, reminiscent of Bitcoin Cash and Chainlink. Or one could argue this is like a broadening ascending wedge. But we're coming back down to this Y trend line as support again. We've done that multiple times before since September 2023. Now, what we need to do is we need to break past this white resistance trend line. It has been keeping us down since February 2023. We had a few rejections back in July 2022. We had a quick breakthrough. That was a quick fake out to liquidate people. I remember that event, and then we crashed hard again because this was a massive quote unquote pump after this correction. So this brought hope back into a lot of people, and they were like, hey, we're back in the bull market. And then everything just dumps even more. So this is what I'm looking at for Harmony 1. Great entry point, in my opinion. If you're bullish on Harmony 1, this is a great time to be buying. And if you're swing trading, then take a look at these tops with your RSR indicator. You can see when the asset is overbought on the weekly. So this was co-aligning very nicely with the bounces off of the white trend line there. So you could have taken some profits and you could have bought back in like at least a 50% discount. You could have done that if you were patient enough, but of course it's hard to predict what's going to happen. Now with the next move to the upside, it's possible we're going to get another rejection off of the white trend line before we see a breakout. But a breakout is necessary for us to start setting more targets to the upside, because while we're in this pattern, we can't really expect something drastically different, because when you're in a channel, you should be expecting a continuation of this channel until you break the channel. So when you break it, then we're going to take a look at that. And when we do so, we also need to see some volume backing up the breakout. And hopefully we can see a back test of support of that white trend line before we start moving to the upside. And we can take a look at a few resistance blocks. Okay, so this would be the first area to target. And this is possibly where Harmony 1 will peak out during this bull market, because most coins do not break their previous all bull market tops. It's very rare that an altcoin breaks its previous all-time high. And some have already done that in this cycle, but most will not do that. And Harmony 1 is probably going to be one of the ones that doesn't do it, okay? I'm not saying that because it's a bad project. I'm just using probabilities as my friend here. So that's it for Harmony 1. Alexander Glusevich. Let's take a look at PAL. PAL AI. It has corrected quite a bit. In fact, it's a really good buying opportunity right now. 15 cents. Let's go to CMC. Yeah, so $133 million market cap. It's pretty much down to where it was back in November before the Trump hype. The tokenomics are really good. In terms of listings, we don't have a Binance or a Kraken or a Coinbase or a Bybit, or we have a Bybit. But we don't have the previous exchanges that I mentioned. So this is a lucrative entry point. Market cap is pretty low. But again, it is risky. It's a relatively new project. And the risk to reward is better than it was a few months ago, or like, let's say back in January or in December, because you're much lower. So I think it's a good time to start picking up some PAL. Let's see what's going on here. This would be a nice support block. We can even extend that lower. So this whole area is is where we can consolidate until we get the next move to the upside. So between 15 and 9.5 cents. We've been there back in December, January 2024. We back tested that in September 2024. Rather, this was December 2023 and January 2024. And then we went down there again in November 2024, and then once again in February 2025. We can also identify a descending diagonal resistance trend line, and this will probably be a massive level for us to break. Once we do that, we're going to have a pump, and the first target on your list should be the all-time high here at 77 cents. And we're going to quickly take a look at Eagle, and then we'll wrap up. If you're looking for near, we just did a video on near 9 days ago, so feel free to take a look at that, my friend. Kaiku Kirazor. So take a look at this video on my upload feed, and we broke down near protocol in great detail there. But jumping to Eagle, we actually did a video on Eagle not too long ago, I believe. Well, it was a month ago, so we'll take a look at Eagle. It's not doing too good. It is not doing too good, I'll tell you that much. And the reason for that is because it's losing its bear market bottoms. So it's crashing below the September 2023 and November 2024 low. So that's not a good sign. It doesn't mean it's not going to pump again, but it just means that we're not able to maintain an uptrend. And we weren't even able to break past this August 2022 top. So it's a great buying opportunity, great area to dollar cost average into multiverse, but I would definitely not go all in. It's a safer coin. It got listed around 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, in August 2020, right in the midst of the previous bull market. So it hasn't gone through a full cycle yet. This is its first full cycle, so it's not a legacy coin necessarily, but it has to start pumping very quickly if we want to be expecting new all-time highs by the end of 2025, okay? So as of right now, I can't give you any bullish predictions because we're losing support. We're losing support here. We have to start breaking these local tops, and we have to break through the August 2022 top in a very swift manner. And we need a lot of volume to back that up. The RSI is back down to where we were in October 2024. So it's a good area to dollar cost average. There's not much to be said about Eagle other than that. So you're down here and you want to be selling here, for example. So this is a good time to be buying. This is a good time to be selling. So you don't need me to tell you that it's a good time to be buying when the prices are as low as they've ever been essentially in the past 5 years. So that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all for joining the live stream. I see we're getting a little bit 2 more requests, but unfortunately I have to keep it below 30 minutes. We're already past that. We're going to take a look at your coins in the next live stream, so stay tuned. We'll try to do one tomorrow, but do expect a live stream on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.